modern Alien vs. Predator title was announced for next-gen systems, well, I got very excited. I remember it taking quite a while to come out. I don't remember if it was ever delayed, but boy was it on my hit list for a long time. Soon after, trailers and gameplay started surfacing, and I literally had my inner fans screaming for me to play it. And then, in February of 2010, the game came out. I didn't play it right away, but reviews and critics were absolutely polarized with it. Everyone was just so mixed. Well, eventually I got my hands on a loaned copy, and to be honest, I could not understand why this game got mixed reviews. The main complaint was that this game was too average or mediocre, which isn't true at all. AVP 2010 is definitely an underrated gem. I recently purchased it for the first time, and I haven't played it in exactly 3 years. But after spending more time with it, beating all 3 campaigns a second time on hard mode, and refreshing my memory, I can safely say that Aliens vs. Predator is an awesome game, and here's why. There are 3 campaigns in the game, which is pretty beefy for today's standards. The overall story is alright. The humans have discovered an ancient relic that was created by the ancestors of the Predators, and once they open it, not only do they release the aliens, but they also gain the attention of the Predators, who wish to keep the humans away from the relic at all costs.
Yes. Begin the breaching procedure.
Like I said, a story that's alright and even cool in its own right. However, it does do a really good job of pitting the 3 species together, and that's all a fan can really ask for in a game like this. I always said that a mediocre story can be forgiven as long as it has amazing characters. Unfortunately, none of the humans are memorable in any way, shape, or form. The real characters of the game are the aliens and predators, and boy are they done justice. I'll get into them with more detail later. For now, let's focus on the Marine campaign. You play as a colonial Marine simply named Rookie. From what I understand, this character has gotten negative reception. It's hard to even call him a character because all of his personality lies in his hands and arms. What I don't understand is that people hate the fact that he never speaks and that you never see his face. Well, yes, he doesn't speak, but you do see his face at the beginning of the game and at the end. But where else have we seen a so-called character named Rookie who never speaks and never shows his face? Oh yeah, right. I never heard people complain about the Rookie in that game. Anyways, the Marine campaign plays like a solid first-person shooter. You can't crouch, but in all honesty, I never noticed that until a reviewer pointed it out to me. You have a health bar at the top that can be healed by using items called stims, and you can carry up to 2 primary weapons and a secondary handgun. Each gun has an alternate fire, and some are more satisfying than others. The Marine campaign as a whole is mainly themed around the aliens. You do encounter the Predator a couple times, and he does become a boss fight, but for the majority of the campaign, you're killing aliens. The biggest downsides to this campaign are the level designs. The first 2 levels are great. They're suspenseful, and can be downright scary if you set it on the harder difficulties. I wish the campaign had played out more like the first 2 levels, fighting in the dark corridors and hallways, hearing your motion tracker go off, but not being able to see the aliens. For the people saying that the game is too linear for a motion tracker, go on hard difficulty, then we'll see if you actually need it or not. I know I did. Once you actually step outside though, the campaign loses a lot of its tension and becomes more of an action game involving aliens. It's fun, and it's a real treat being able to use the smart gun for example, but I can't help but feel that the campaign would have been amazing if it stayed horror themed throughout. Next we have the Predator campaign. This campaign is my favorite by far. The Predator is my favorite species in terms of mythology. Unlike the Marine, he can handle himself in just about any harsh battle situation, and he's able to put up an incredible fight. The Predator is also capable of cognitive thought, being able to use a wide variety of deadly weapons, equipment, and hunting tactics, unlike the alien, which only acts based on instinct. As the Predator, you are regarded by your elders as a youngblood, and are sent in to deal with the conflict concerning the relic. You can use a variety of signature weapons including the plasma caster, smart disc, combi stick, and my personal favorite, you really do feel like the Predator in this game. They even give you the option to switch between different vision modes to see how a Predator actually sees. There is nothing better than turning on thermal vision and distracting a poor Marine only to rip out his spinal cord. However, the Predator is not invincible. He can't take too much damage without dropping, and even a Marine can block against his wrist blades if he's spotted. A lot of people say that Rebellion made the Predator severely underpowered, and that's true to an extent. While I do think that the wrist blades should be a one-hit kill and that puny Marines would never be able to block them, the Predator's health is lower to make the game more balanced, and to make you think and act like an actual hunter. Do you guys remember how the Predator died in the second movie? Yeah, it was a pretty lame death. Or if you really want to count it, the 2 Predator deaths in the first AVP film, which occurred very quickly by one lone alien. Something that I do dislike, however, is the fact that your active camouflage wears off every time you engage in combat. The active camouflage should stay on no matter what, unless you go into water, which is one of the only things that makes the cloaking device short-circuit. Rebellion could have found a way to use the elements such as rain or mist to make the invisibility more balanced. I also sometimes forget that the invisibility goes away, so sometimes a guard spots me when I'm under the impression that I'm still invisible. It's a little irritating having to press the Y button again and again after every kill, but even with these shortcomings, the Predator campaign remains to be the most enjoyable for me, and it's certainly a treat for any Predator fan. The stealth and trophy kills are undeniably beautiful and gruesome, sure to please any sadist, and using the Predator's weapons make you feel like an ultimate badass. And last, but certainly not least, we have the Alien campaign. Playing as the Alien is radically different than playing as the Marine or Predator because you don't have any projectile-based weapons. Being an extremely hostile animal, you have to use your senses, instincts, and stealth to take out enemies, and what a treat it is when you actually land a kill on your unsuspecting victim. Just like the Predator, you can perform a variety of mutilating finishers on enemies. While the Predator focuses more on sheer strength and brutality, the Alien is a lot sleeker and precise. My favorites are the ones where you impale someone and shove them closer, watching their body go over the ridges of your tail, or when you shove your tail up an enemy's anus and watch the bladed end come out of the poor sap's mouth. I wonder if that's what happened to Lambert from the first Alien film. There's also amazing executions where you stab Marines in the eye sockets or rip their tracheas out, but when you really get down to it though, these executions don't really do much in the long run, and they all lead to the same result. However, they are so cool and so satisfying that the combat never gets old. As for the story in the Alien campaign, you are Specimen 6, a unique xenomorph that shows above average intelligence. Being kept in a cage and experimented on, you receive your call from the matriarch, aka the Alien Queen, and you begin your escape, freeing the rest of the aliens and joining the feud between the Predators and Marines. Playing as the Alien has to be the second most enjoyable for me, because crawling on the walls and ceilings and spying on hapless prey is so fun and unique that it makes me wish there was more to play. The Alien is indeed the shortest of the 3 campaigns, being possible to complete at 2 to 4 hours. Another thing that was a little annoying was the transitioning from walls to ceilings. Sometimes it would be a chore to keep tapping onto other surfaces, and sometimes the Alien would go on walls that I didn't want to be on. Still, nevertheless, the Alien campaign is great fun for the whole family. Sort of. After the campaigns are finished, you can play the Survivor mode. Survivor is basically a Horde or Wave type mode where you make one final stand against the aliens as a Marine, and hold out for as long as you can. It's not exactly original, but does it work with killing aliens? Yes, definitely. You can even play with up to 4 players online, or you can do solo runs. It's a bit of a shame because nobody plays this game online, and I always die fairly quickly when I play by myself. Oh well. There's also a nice variety of game types for competitive online play. The sad truth is that not many people play this game anymore. I was searching for a game for 10 minutes today and could only find 4 other people. However, when you do get a solid game going, it is incredible. There's nothing better than working with your alien teammates and bum-rushing the Marines into executions. It's priceless and extremely fun. Word to the wise, if you decide to go head-on against a Predator while playing as an alien, Use the heavy tail attack and then grab. Works every time. There's also no more lag in this game than other online games, so I guess the people who criticize the multiplayer for not having good performance simply had bad connections. I also want to touch on the sounds in this game. The voice acting done by the Marines is passable at best. It's not horrible or anything, it's just not that good. I was never cringing at any of the performances. If anything, it's the writing that got a little annoying sometimes. However, Rebellion did get Lance Henriksen to reprise his role as Bishop, and he nails it.
No, Dr. Rose. I want it alive. I like this one. Send in the combat androids. Mark it up for the program.
Lance is an extremely talented actor, but the script unfortunately didn't do much for his character here. But voices aside, the sound effects are perfect. The pulse rifle sounds like it did in the second movie. The predators sound like predators from their famous purring, to the cycling of vision modes.
You know, it's before. It ain't
The aliens sound like aliens from their hissing to the baby elephant noises they make when getting hurt. If you're a fan of either species or both in general, the sound effects of all three worlds will definitely make you smile. I give Aliens vs Predator 2010 4 spinal cords out of 5. If you haven't played AVP 2010 but you think it looks interesting, I urge you to go out and at least rent it. I picked up my copy for $10. $10! That is an amazing deal. To tell you the truth, I'm surprised that there aren't many first-person action games on the market. The only ones I can think of are this and Dead Island, both of which got less than stellar reviews, so maybe I can see why. I wouldn't mind it if developers perfected the first-person combat formula and made a full-on Predator game that really makes you feel like the badass hunter.